Hola everybody, Sir Leon here once again, and the topic that we will be looking at today would be matrices or matrix. Now when we talk about matrix, no, I'm not referring to the movie in which the guy is shot at by about 10 people and then he raises his hand and all the bullets from the gun is just drop on the ground. I'm not talking about that matrix. I'm talking about the matrix in mathematics. Alright, so a matrix can be defined as an array of numbers. Here's an example of a matrix. Now, on this matrix, it is described by the amount of rows and columns that the matrix contains. Alright, so for example, in this matrix, we have rows would be across, these will be the rows, and the columns will be across here. So in this matrix, we have 2 rows and we have 3 columns. So this matrix will be defined as a 2 by 3 matrix. Once again, because it has 2 rows and 3 columns. Now since we are preparing for CSEC, you might ask yourself questions. What do we do with these matrices? Now there are different things that we can do with matrix. For one, we can add or subtract matrices. We can multiply these matrices by a scalar, or 3, we can multiply a matrix by a matrix. And that is the 3 things, those are the 3 things that we will be doing today. There are also some other things that we will look at in the next video, which will be finding the determinant and finding the inverse of a matrix, but that is for the next video. Today we're looking at adding, subtracting, multiplying by a scalar, and multiplying a matrix by a matrix. Alright, so we have example 1. Example 1 says the matrix A is equal to, we have 1, 2, negative 2, and 0. And the matrix B is equal to 2, 0, negative 1, and 3. And they want us to find what is A plus B. So all we got to do is put down the matrix A, which will be 1, 2, negative 2, 0. Plus the matrix B, which will be 2, 0, negative 1, and negative 3. And then we just add the corresponding number in each matrix. For example, what I mean, this 1 will be added to its corresponding element, which is this 2 here. So we will have 1 plus the 2, right? And this 2, of course, will be added with the corresponding element in the next matrix. It should be 2 plus 0. And the negative 2 will be added with the corresponding matrix, which should be negative 1. And the 0 will be added with the negative 3. As simple as that. You add the corresponding matrix, and then we just work it out, and that is the answer. 1 plus 2 will give you 3. 2 plus 0 will give you 2. Negative 2 plus negative 1, that will give you negative 3. And 0 plus negative 2, that will give you, that just like if you have 0 minus 3, that will give you negative 3. And that is the answer for A plus B, as simple as that. Now, if you wanted to subtract A from B or B from A, you just do the same thing. You put down the elements of A, you put the subtraction sign, put the elements of B, and you subtract the corresponding elements. So this will subtract this will subtract this, and so on. So when you're adding and subtracting, you're doing the same thing. The only thing you're doing what the operation says. Alright, so now we're looking at the second example, which will be scalar multiplication. Now we talk about scalar multiplication. What we're basically saying is that we're multiplying one term or one number by everything inside of the matrix. So in this example, we have the matrix C is equal to 2, 3, 0, negative 2. And they want us to find 2C. All you're doing is you're multiplying this 2 by each element in the matrix, which will be 2, 0, 3, negative 2. And when you multiply, this is something similar to the distributive law, right? I think it's probably distributive like a cousin. So this is going to be 2 times 2, going to be 4. 2 times 3 will give you 6. 2 times 0 will give you 0. 2 times negative 2 will give you negative 4. And so hence 2c is equal to 4, 6, 0, negative 4. So that is the whole idea behind scalar multiplication when dealing with matrix. You just multiply whatever they ask you to multiply. You multiply that by everything inside of that matrix. As simple as that. Alright, so we have the third and final example, which says this is multiplying a matrix by a matrix. Now it says the matrix A is equal to 1, 0, 2, 4. The matrix B is equal to 1, 3, 2, 3. I want to find AB. Now this AB means A times B, right? Matrix A times matrix B. Now for this here, let's firstly write back the matrix. It's going to be 1, 0, 2, 4 multiplied by 1, 2, 2, 3. Alright, so when you're multiplying a matrix by a matrix, it is way different from scalar multiplication. The number that you should think about is the number 7. Reason why you have to think about the number 7, because you have to multiply row by column. If you want to find the first element of this matrix, you multiply the row by the column. Let me show you what I mean. For this matrix, it will be row by column. It will be 1 times 1 plus 0 times 2. And that will give you the first element of this matrix. And if you want to find the second one, it will be 1 times 2 plus 0 times 3. So it is row, let me see if I can write with a pencil. It is row by column, and then the same row by the other column. And then we go to the bottom row. It will be 2 times 1 plus 4 times 2. And then we go to the second column. 2 times 3. Sorry, this will be 2 times 2 plus 4 times 3. So it's basically row by column. Now if you notice, the corresponding this here and this here is the same, this here and this is the same, this and this is the same, this and this is the same. That is how it should be. If they got a different number from the top here, that means you did something wrong. You made some mistake somewhere. And then you just work this out. This will be 1 times 1 will give you 1 plus 0 times 2 will give you 0. 1 times 2 will give you 2. 0 times 3 will give you 0. 2 times 1 will give you 2 plus 4 times 2 will give you 8. 2 2's, 4 plus 4 times 3 will give you 12. And then you just finish it off. 1 plus 0 will give you 1. 2 plus 0 is 2. 2 plus 8. 2 plus 8 is 10. 4 plus 12 will give you 16. So AB is equal to, alright? So let me just go that over again. It's row by column, letter 7. Row by column. Each row by each column. Each row by each column. Alright? So just to recap what we did, we said that a matrix is an array of numbers and it is described based on the amount of rows and columns it has. And also we said we can add or subtract matrix. And we said that when we're adding matrix, we're adding the corresponding elements, right? And also we did scalar multiplication when we multiplied everything. When we multiply everything in the matrix by the number outside of the matrix. And then we multiplied a matrix by a matrix. Here we multiplied the row by the column. Alright? So I hope this video was helpful. Stay tuned. Next time we'll be looking at the inverse of a matrix and also, the inverse of a matrix.